Hello, everybody, and welcome to an exciting new episode of Witness Protection. As always, I'm your host, comedian JC Heat. This week on the show, got a lot of fire, a lot of controversy. My buddy Joey Bag of Donuts will be in with his weekly rap segment, of course. I would take a little tour of South Florida, as promised. And, well, we're going to talk about some racist shit. That's all I got to say coming up on the podcast. Stay tuned. One of the things everybody's talking about is this Republican debate. It was last night, actually. Tuned in, about 2 hours long. It's very interesting. And everybody obviously went after the biggest target in the room, Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump was number one in the polls. Whether we believe it or not, the Donald is in pretty much all the polls. The Donald's approval rating is very high among voters. So everybody took their shots. Rand Paul took some shots at Mr. Trump. A lot of other people did, actually. It was pretty much a pile-on. The moderator, Megyn Kelly, asked Donald Trump about her negative opinions towards women, and Donald said, the only negative things I've said about women is in regards to Rosie O'Donnell. And suddenly the entire audience started laughing when Rosie O'Donnell was called a fat pig. Only in America. These are conservative Republicans, and they're like, that Rosie O'Donnell bitch, yeah, she's a fat bitch. It was pretty funny. But overall, interesting. Rand Paul taking on Chris Christie. Chris Christie responded pretty sternly, so it was pretty good. Ben Carson, the African-American doctor running for president, did a pretty good job making his point of views known. The governor of Ohio did a pretty stellar job. I've never even heard of the guy, and he's out there and he's hitting home runs. So it is a year away from the official beginning of the Republican nomination and all that. So it's a year away. So you never know what's going to happen. The tabloids and the papers are saying Trump won, even though they say some of them he lost his mojo there because he was asked a direct question, if you don't win the nomination, will you be supporting the other candidates? And he said, no. Lost them a little bit of, leverage, but overall, for a 2-hour debate, wasn't that bad. It was a sight to see. I recommend you catch up and watch it on YouTube, give it some time, and see what you think. And a little bit of business news. The Keurig Coffee Company has seen their profits dwindle a little bit. They've lost some market share. They're going to be cutting their staff about 10%. And they're saying it's a very competitive market and things are changing. And also Wendy's. Wendy's is reporting earnings, very positive earnings. Wendy's is right now the highest grossing fast food place. They're really, carved out their niche over the years. They're beating Burger King, they're beating McDonald's in terms of growth. People are going. They diversified their menu. Things have changed. So I'm glad to see that, Wendy's is doing well. And as for the Courage Coffee Company, I'm a fan. I don't own one, but I do enjoy when somebody gives me some. And I don't understand. Maybe because your machine is $100 or 100 plus. If you have a coffee machine with a little cup that's $100, that's probably why you're not making money. If you cut those things down to about $49.99 or $59.99, I guarantee you your profits will go. But what are you going to do? Moving on. Now, I don't want to dig in too much in this because my buddy Joey's going to talk a lot about it. I skim the surface here now. Last week on The View, guest co-host Kelly Osbourne. Now, she was responding to the things said Donald Trump has said. Now, whether she meant to come off racist or not, she did say the following statement. She said, If all the Latinos left Los Angeles, who would clean your toilets? Donald Trump. Now, whether she meant to come off racist or not, it sounded very racist. Now, I'd like to say, as a Hispanic, and I always say non-Mexican because I'm not. I always have to specify to the white people, just in case they're like, well, that's a Mexican guy. No. Mother's not Mexican, father's not Mexican. Nope, not at all. Making that clear. I'm not even from LA, but I lived in LA and I have friends in LA. I find that very offensive. Very, very offensive. And to me, especially coming from a rich white girl that was born into wealth. Now, I don't want to knock her family because honestly, big Ozzy fan. I've spent my hard-earned money on Ozzy CDs and records in my life. I'm not going to lie. I'm a fan of the Oz man. Now, Kelly, on the other hand, Kelly is nepotism, and that's what show business is about to her, I guess, because it's like, yeah, Ozzy's your dad, rock and roll legend. You were born into wealth. I mean, by the time she was born, Ozzy was a pretty wealthy man. Uh, she's never had probably a really rough time in her life financially, so for a bitch to say something like that, I just can't stand it. And as a Hispanic, it did come off racist. There's nothing you're going to say to me that isn't going to make it less racist. So I'll let Joey dig in later, but I think she made a big mistake. And she criticized Juliana Rancic for saying something on her show Fashion Police before. I think Kelly should just be honest and apologize and say, I made a mistake too. She's probably not. But hey, what are you going to do? Kelly Osbourne, our douchebag of the week. We'll continue on.